Hello, Facebook, what is happening? And YouTube, what's happening? Giving you a holler on a Thursday night here. Gonzalo at the Temple of the Living God, Thursday night Course in Miracles. What is up? So happy you guys tuned in. Had a cool class tonight. I was happy to have some people here to share. And when there's nobody here, I'm happy to be here as well. It's so important just to have the space carved out and offer a divine hand from Spirit for us to walk the road of openness and inner honesty with Spirit, and the willingness to go deep into our closets and clean out the blocks to our natural love's awareness, to make that space available, even if brothers and sisters don't come or if they don't share. To make the space available is so promoting of our openness and our awakening. So thank you, Holy Spirit Jesus. Remember, the only rules, there are no rules. They're just some guiding principles that I was given. You don't have to believe, agree, or accept anything I'm sharing. We're just not here to convince or preach or force anything on you. We invite you, if you're led to and if you're comfortable, know that this is a safe space to reveal any guilty, shameful burdens you wish to share with complete non-judgment. An essential step to freedom from the ego. Can't skip it. As long as we feel that we have to be afraid of something, that we have to be afraid of sharing something, that we're ashamed or burdened by something. Not that the group is a place to do that for everybody, because it's not. But as long as we feel afraid that we have to hide things, we will not experience the perfect light of God that we are. As long as we feel that fear and that guilt and shame without being able to open up about it with Spirit, with Jesus, with whomever the affirmation is that we're led to open up about it, we will not actually believe that we're the perfect light of God. No way around it. We'll continue to be firmly invested as a physical identity, tied to the physical past, believing we have to hold on to those stories that keep us shameful, guilty, and burdened and shackled to a past that we have come to believe is permanent and we can't remove ourselves from. It's a required step for freedom. But again, only the time we take is up to us. The purpose here is to be non-compromising. We talked tonight about not leaving any stone unturned. The ego is very subtle about all of its judgments. Gossip can be so subtle. Oh, look at her. just the snicker of somebody maybe that we mock or look down upon. Piling on. It's easy to do that on social media, to pile on to people. Canceling, they call it. It is so subtle, the ego's accepted judgments, accepted attacks on other people. It is so subtle, but according to Jesus in the Course, it is just as much as intense rage against that being. This is where the practice gets very deep for the Course in Miracles students that wants to go deep into freedom of and experience of Spirit, not just talk about it, not just read about it, not just go to course group and not just sing about it, but to really go into the experience. We're required to look at every single judgment that could cross our mind, and that can be dizzying. It will be dizzying if you're doing this with diligence. But that's what it takes to build our mind muscle and build our heart muscle and build our willingness, and to allow Holy Spirit in to support us. The Holy Spirit's guidance, the Jesus guidance, is always there around us. But unless we call on it, we're going to call on the old mind, the ego voice, the ego tendency to continue to run its mouth, and for us to actually believe that mouth running. It is tiring at times. It is dizzying, the amount of shit that our ego voice tries to download in our psyches since we got here. But once you become aware in Spirit through the Course practice, you start to realize just how dizzying it can be. It's like, damn, it's just so insistent. But your willingness will be rewarded. The ego cannot withstand willingness fixated on the perfect light of God. It can't stand that. It won't last as long as our willingness is solid. When our willingness is firm, no matter how painful it is to shed those stories, when our willingness is firm, no matter how heartbroken and heart heavy we feel in shedding those and looking at those burdens and shames and guilts and dark areas that we wanted to avoid for so long, no matter how difficult and painful it is to bring those things up with Spirit, we can't do it ourselves. With Spirit, we have to do it with Spirit and Jesus. The ego cannot stand that. And our willingness will rise to the top. Our willingness will rise, but we have to do it with a place of dedication. We have to do it from a place of conviction. We have to do it with such a dedication and willingness that our faith gets built so strong that it is really the only purpose for us getting out of bed in the morning. We have to be that complete and total in our dedication to this truth and this path if we are to awaken and wake up from this nightmare and make it a different version of this experience in this world, preparing us for our eventual complete awakening. So we don't want to compromise any thought in our mind and leave it there to fester and to continue to grow roots down, which it has for so long since we've been here. Because as we know, those ego thoughts, those ego judgments, the guilt, the shame, the attack, it grows very thick, nasty roots until we decide to be willing enough to snip them out at the core. And that requires courage. But the more courage that we gain in rooting out those deep-seated false beliefs, the faster we'll wake up. And the more courage and bravery we harness in doing this practice and confronting those very scary areas and those very scary stories in our closets, the faster we wake up to complete freedom and complete peace from this nightmare. No two ways about it. Not to exclude anything from the Holy Spirit's light, to shine the Holy Spirit light on all of it. Hold it up, no matter what it is. But not to analyze, not to understand or rationalize, because our understanding is not a requirement for truth. Trying to rationalize and use logic creates a barrier to resistance. But we absolutely do need honesty. It is a requirement to be essentially inner honest with Spirit for us to be able to really release those false beliefs. The end goal and purpose is complete release from all judgments, all attachments, all guilt, all shame. Any belief that ties us to this world of judgment and attack and hatred, self-hatred, that we project outward at other brothers and sisters so that we can never get to the core of it. We don't want to leave anything unexposed to the light of Holy Spirit. Because if we do, those thick roots will never get undone and never get chopped out. Wonderful group tonight. Wonderful group tonight. The ego doesn't want us to wake up. The ego wants us to always hide and bury our true selves under some sort of false cover-up in the world. That can never bring us happiness and never bring us genuine joy and genuine lightness. Genuine happiness. The ego can never bring us that. And the only way for us to truly have unconditional peace and freedom in which we were created, that is rightfully ours because it is who we are, is for us to go deep as we've ever been, to the bottom, to the core of our minds, and clean out the false beliefs that has covered over our God-given light. Clean out, chop out at the root, at the foot, the false beliefs about ourselves that have kept us in chains here, and justifiably keeping us in chains and making excuses about why we want to stay in chains. That's the insanity of the ego's belief system, and this is what we call living in the world and fitting in the world, adapting in the world, getting acceptance in the world, getting approval in the world, getting validation in the world. That has nothing to do with being genuinely, perfectly happy. Anyway, we deserve all of it, not this small speck of token reward here in the world. So I'll leave you with that. Thank you so much for tuning in. I appreciate you. Peace and love, peace and love, peace and love. Be the light that you are. Feel the light that you are. Be the light that you are. Feel the light that you are. Be the light that you are. Feel the light that you are. Be the light that you are. Feel the light that you are. Lead me. Guide me. Lead me. Guide me. Lead me. Guide me. Lead me. Guide me. Thank you, brothers and sisters. Love you.